Stop, drop, and roll. Or don't do that, but pay attention here. I haven't live streamed to you guys or broadcasted to you guys in quite a while, but I did a test earlier today helping a client, and it was fun, and I forgot how much fun it is. So let's talk about how marketers trick your brain. Yeah, this is going to be good. Now, let me see if I can figure out how to, if I have the opportunity to screen share here. Share screen. Look at that. 2 monitors, blah, blah, blah. Don't show these tips again. Now, if I press share screen, it's going to take me to, I don't want it to record. I want to just see if I can go to Facebook. It doesn't look like I can. Okay, so we're not going to share screens. What I was going to do was find one of these ads with the deceptive, or as I like to call it, bullshit copywriting and bullshit promises. But you know the ads, you know the copy, you know the style. So let's talk about how marketers trick your brain. If you've been in this space for any amount of time, you already know that there are certain like preconditions. Oh, no, there aren't real preconditions, but it seems like there are preconditions to having success in this space. And the way that we arrive at these preconditions or assumptions is we come into the space, we look around at what everyone else is doing, right? We assume things about them. We assume their success. Primarily we assume their success. And a lot of that assumption happens on an unconscious level. So you're assuming that this jackwad over here and that douchebag over there are as successful as they represent themselves to be. Man, I've been in this game long enough to know, and I can tell you very few of these people are that successful. Very few of them. I've been on sales calls for the last 10 days, and I can tell you that most people don't have the money, even for services they really want. Now, that's not meant to dissuade you. That's meant to just give you perspective that what we see on Facebook, what we see on Instagram, even more so than Facebook, what we see on social media is highlight reels. You know, it's highlight reels. It's highly curated content designed to, pay attention, designed to make you think a certain thing. What nobody talks about is once your mind decides that this guy or that girl is successful, you then grant them unconsciously a whole bunch of permissions of how they can talk to you, what you'll believe, what you'll accept, what you'll do. And so the whole space, the whole internet marketing space is in a very real way. Well, the way I would characterize it is it's one big oily circle jerk. Now, that having been said, there are people other than me, in addition to me, who care more about results. There are people out there who care more about serving you. Those people typically have deep ethical misgivings about committing into the marketing process. And that's because their only experience with marketing that they're aware of is this deceptive bullshit marketing stuff. How are we tracking so far? Is that making sense to you? Go ahead and tell me if it's making sense to you. Thumbs up, heart, smiley face, whatever, poop emoji. I don't care what it is. Just interact and let me know. So you see, the human mind, when we enter a new situation, we look for stasis. We look for, okay, how do we fit in? How do we fit in, right? We don't want to be ostracized. We don't want to be left out of the group. And so what we have here is an inception level kind of thing where those top marketers understand all this stuff. So now I'm talking about like Dan Henry. No, sorry. Fuck that guy. I'm talking about Dan, what the fuck is that guy's name? He's now doing all this stuff with Russell Brunson. with the no BS marketing stuff, which is all BS. It's 100% BS is what it is. Dan Kennedy, right? He was this OG copywriter, which is basically the words version of marketing. And he didn't ever publicly really teach or care about results. He only taught and cared about persuasion. So him, John Carlton, pick your favorite great OG copywriter. These guys, almost by the definition of the work they do, are focused on results, their results, which is sales. They are not inherently concerned with honesty. I mean, if we're really getting down to it, anybody who teaches you how to write headlines with those atrocious formulas, that have you writing headlines that, say things like, will have your ideal prospects practically begging to work with you. That is just such fucking horse shit. You're never going to get, crowds of people clamoring over each other to stuff their money in your hand. That's not ever going to happen. I mean, maybe if you're at that Tony Robbins level where you spend 5 fucking days hypnotizing everybody, which is exactly, for all of you Tony Robbins fans, that's what those live events are. They are a 5-day primer to get your ass to buy shit. Okay? Come at me with all your I love Tony Robbins, I love UPW. Come at me, because it's all deep and highly refined manipulation. Instead of telling me how much you love Tony Robbins, why don't you talk about his actual client success numbers? They're tiny compared to how many people he sells things to each year. They're infinitesimal. Okay, so how do marketers trick your brain? Well, they trick it by triggering things they already know are in you. How about the promise of the ideal future, but without really having to work for it? Does that sound familiar? Yeah. See, that goes to a very, very deep place in us because we are hardwired to look for the easiest way to do things. We are hardwired to try to solve problems. And so you get these people who come along promising you these solutions to problems. It strikes a chord deep inside of you. And in many cases, you may not even realize that string is being plucked. Hope you're tracking this. How else do marketers trick your brain? There are a million little 3-card Monty little follow the, what's that game where they put the ball under the cup and then they move the cups around, whatever that game is. I got news for you. In that game, like in most of the marketing you see in the coaching space, the ball was taken off the table right at the beginning. So anytime you see any of these outrageous claims, right, we're guaranteed we'll fill your calendar with 100 appointments or you don't pay. If you fall for that one, you deserve it. And it's not that I'm mad at you, but you deserve it if you fall for that, right? What's another one? Scale your business to 7 figures using our done-for-you Instagram funnel. I happen to know someone personally who just got done getting the runaround after paying $18,000 for one of those Instagram funnels, which is basically an untrained setter delivering poor results and no one to talk to when you have problems. So if that is okay with you, that level of deception in the promise, then you've already drank the Kool-Aid, right? The Kool-Aid of the elusive promises, the easy button, the promise of quick riches. You have to become self-aware in order for marketers to not be as able to trick your brain. Hope that makes sense to you. So what do? Well, at the level of a lot of the people that you see now, they just mimic the OGs. All they do is they just duplicate what they've seen, which is why most marketing feels so similar, especially in the make money coaching, internet marketing, blah, blah, blah space. It all feels so similar because Very few of these guys and girls are going any deeper than adapting what they were taught to their specific offer and brand voice. Right? There's very little new. I would suggest to you, rather than new, go old. Go back to the principles. So now that I'm on this, why don't we talk a little bit about how your marketing can be better? Go back to the principles. Nothing has changed except the tactics and the landscape in the last 100 years. Persuasion is still the same as it always was. You get a little bit better at hijacking the hippocampus, but persuasion is the same as it was. And there is, always was, and always will be a beautiful acronym to help you understand persuasion. It's AIDA, AIDA, AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, and action. So attention, interest, desire, and action. Let's do that again, shall we? Attention, interest, desire, and action. This is what you have to create in people. But you don't have to do it with hypey over-the-top promises. You have to do it with hypey over-the-top promises when your actual product is not very good. That's when you need the ridiculous hyperbolic promises. If your offer is good and your positioning is good, you don't need any of that shit. You can really just tell people, this is what I've got. This is why it's great. This is the problem it solves. And this is what you'll no longer have to deal with. This is the pain you'll avoid and the pleasure you'll receive. The pain you'll avoid and the pleasure you'll receive. But it doesn't have to be done like you're working on a carnival midway and you're just barking at people walking by to get them to come into your little tent. Okay? So how do marketers trick your brain? They understand these biases we have. They understand these desires we have. They understand these urges we have. And they shame, especially, God damn it, especially the modern ones. They just shamelessly promise to those things. They speak right to those things, which you could argue is to their credit, except that there's very little integrity. And that's where you see the hyper. In fact, let me say this. Anywhere you see an ad or an offer or a promise that has that hyperbolic level of copy, you can almost be certain that the product underneath all that hype is not something that will stand on its own. It is not. So I hope this has helped you. It's been fun to do another live stream. And yeah, I guess, read, pay attention, look at, analyze, dissect the promises people are making with a little bit of a shrewder eye. And things should go better for you. Okay? All right. Remember, attention, interest, desire, and action. That's what you need.